Want to attend the legendary Thrivetime Show Business Workshop for free? Subscribe on iTunes, leave an objective review, and send us confirmation at info@thrivetimeshow.com to claim your tickets. Want to live in a van down by the river? Come by and see us at our Riverwalk offices, and we'll be able to make your dreams come true.
All right, Thrive Nation, welcome back to the Thrivetime Show on your radio. We're talking about recruiting and retaining top talent 101, and we're not talking about prison culture, Chup.
No.
If you don't retain top talent, it's kind of like you're in a prison.
Right.
The culture.
So, of your own creation. So this is a show that I believe could be worth millions of dollars to anybody out there listening who has a revolving door of top talent. So what I want you to do is I want you, the listener, to take copious amounts of notes, to write down specific actionable items for you, because if you don't apply what you're learning right here, you're really missing out. So here we go. Recruiting and retaining top talent 101. Why people love and stay at their jobs. Atul Gawande, the best-selling author of Checklist Manifesto and the Harvard Medical School professor, he once said, "We recruit for attitude and we train for skill." I would argue, Marshall Morris, business coach, that the employee is actually looking for attitude and the employer is looking for attitude. I think the employee is willing to put up with a manager who's learning to manage as long as they have an awesome attitude. And I think that the employer is willing to put up with an employee who doesn't know what to do as long as they have an awesome attitude. But I find really, really good employees cannot work at all for somebody who has a cantankerous attitude or a pompous attitude. And I also find that employers struggle to manage employees or struggle to put up with employees who have a lot of skill but have a bad attitude. So talk to me about, from an employer perspective, why you have to have a good attitude if you are going to retain top people.
Okay, I'm going to break this down.
Break it down.
Forbes article, you Google this, Public Hangings by Jack Welch, okay? They interview him
Public
about,
Hangings by Jack Welch.
Yep. He says that you got to divide your employees into 4 different quadrants, okay? It's 4 quadrants, okay? You got culture and you got numbers, okay? So you got good attitude and good numbers, onward and upward for those people. Then you have bad attitude, bad numbers, and it's easy. You got to fire those people. Then you got people with good attitude but poor numbers, okay? And you got to invest with them. You have to help train them because they have a good attitude. This is exactly what you're talking about. You got to spend some time providing some resources for these people to help them improve. But this is the last quadrant. Quadrant number 4 is the one that cripples companies. Employees that have good numbers but terrible attitudes, okay? Because these are the ones that the CEOs say, hey, you know what? Let's see if their numbers stay the same next quarter, and then we'll revisit it. But it never changes. This cripples companies because you look at the top companies, Zappos, Tony Hsieh.
Zappos.
He says that you must fire people for culture. In fact, culture is half of the performance review that they go through. Numbers are only half of it, and so you got to fire people.
So this is an example. Every morning at 6 a.m., we have our Thrive Business Coaching meeting where we coach the coaches.
That's right.
And in that meeting, Marshall is the head of the coaches, essentially, and my job as the COO of Thrive is to make sure that our team is equipped. Now, what happens is if any one of our clients we service, if they have a question for our coach that they don't know the answer to, then we answer it in our coaches meeting. Today, Chup, there was a question asked by a young lady on our team, and she asked, I think, 4 questions in a row or 3 questions in a row.
Right.
And what did I say as opposed to answering the question? Do you remember that?
You said, that's good, I'll come back to it.
And why do you think I said that?
Because you didn't want to just spew out the first thing that came to mind. They were legitimate questions. She needed a thoughtful answer, and you thought, hey, let's continue down. Let's not stop the meeting. So I think let's go ahead and do this, and then we'll come back to that.
So John Maxwell, he once wrote, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And so I wanted to make sure that I gave this person a thoughtful answer
right,
that actually would help not only the client, but the coach. And that is a skill I've had to learn. And there's an interesting story that I would encourage you guys to listen to. If you get a chance to check out Tim Ferriss, The 4-Hour Workweek, he has a podcast he puts out about 6 or 7 a month. And one of the most recent podcasts he puts out there is an interview with a guy named Bob Metcalfe. He's the guy who invented the Ethernet. Okay, not the internet, but the Ethernet. And one of the things that Bob Metcalfe pointed out during his interview is he had a very successful CEO that he was shadowing at one point. So he had a CEO who was very successful, and he got a chance to watch him. And so he's like, I wonder what he's doing, because there's a staff meeting going on, and the CEO's not talking a lot, and he's writing notes on a piece of paper. And he's thinking, I wonder what that guy's writing down. And he's writing down over and over on this piece of paper, keep quiet, keep quiet, keep quiet. And he's doing that because he wants to listen to what the questions are being asked. And he's trying to, as the CEO of the company, remind himself that you have 2 ears and 1 mouth, and it's important that you fully understand the conversation. Because if you dominate the conversation and you don't fully understand the questions, you leave the participants of the meeting feeling like they're full of holes, and you don't leave people feeling whole. So I'm going to walk the listeners through the specific steps to retain people today. Okay, the specific steps, but I would encourage you to recognize, as the owner of the business, you have 2 ears and 1 mouth, and it's so important. And I get better in that. I get better at that every year, just writing down, keep it quiet, trying to write. I fully understand the question before I answer, trying not to just fly off the handle, because things that seem common sense to me are not common for everybody else because they haven't gone through it before. And if they have gone through it before, then they would be leading the meeting. So here we go. People today, employees today, want mentorship and not just management. Marshall, we have a hair salon, Elephant in the Room, men's grooming lounge. We have a lot of women that work there. You see the people. There's a lot of great people that work there. But why is mentorship today really needed and not doing? Today, management really is mentorship.
Because one of the top things that people will work for is working for somebody that is a source of wisdom. And so when you are a source of wisdom for your employees, you will engage with them more regularly, and that engagement is what will keep them and retain them long term. And so you must be a source of wisdom and mentor the people to get them from where they are to where they want to be. If you are helping them get to their goals, then that's going to be a huge plus for you.
If they feel like you are there to help them grow as they are there to help your business grow, they're going to be happier, and they're going to have more success for you in your business. Therefore, it just kind of makes sense if you really think about it. It's a circle.
If you watch Bill versus Bill, there's a neat documentary that came out. It's Bill Belichick and Bill Parcells sitting down together. And it's phenomenal explaining the relationship. Because remember, Bill Parcells was a head coach who won 2 Super Bowls, but Bill Belichick was an assistant for Parcells. And Parcells has gone on the record to say that he doesn't think he probably would have won those 2 Super Bowls without Bill Belichick.
Oh.
But those two had an interesting relationship because Bill Parcells was the mentor of Bill Belichick, now the head coach of the New England Patriots. But one of the things Belichick explains is he got offered a job to go coach somewhere else, and he turned it down because he felt like that Parcells actually took the time out of his schedule to mentor him and to prepare him for the day when he would be a head coach. So you got to make sure your employees respect you as a source of wisdom and not just a manager. Now, this is big. You've got to make sure that you prune the tree or that you pull the weeds, because good people hate working with idiots. So if you are the owner of a business, you owe it to your good people to fire idiots. When we come back from the break, I want to explain why that's so important that you pull the weeds and fire idiots from your organization.
Attend the world's best business workshop led by America's #1 business coach for free by subscribing on iTunes and leaving us an objective review. Claim your tickets by emailing us proof that you did it and your contact information to info@thrivetimeshow.com.
All right, Thrive Nation, we're talking about how to recruit and retain top talent. Well, I'm going to walk you through how to recruit top talent. These are very specific, just step by step. This is how you do it. Don't overcomplicate it. It's not that difficult, okay? Step 1, you make a job post. You put up every single week on Craigslist, Indeed, and Monster. And we have proven job descriptions that work. So if you want that, you can get that from your business coach. It just works, okay? So post every single week. Second, when the people respond to the job post, let them know through a pre-written email that you're going to schedule an interview at the same time every week. Let them know, hey, Tuesday at 5, we'll be interviewing. Tuesday at 5, I'd love to interview you. Tuesday at 5, I'd love to interview you. No matter who responds or what they ask, Tuesday at 5. Then every Tuesday at 5, interview people as a group. Once you interview people as a group, you can weed through to figure out who's on time, who's diligent, who's somebody who has actual job skills, who's lying, who's not. It all happens faster when you interview people as a group. Then when you find the candidate you like, have them shadow you, because most people are not who they say they are. When they shadow you, you'll find the candidate you like, and now you have a very good employee on your team. Now, to retain top talent, you must understand that that today keeping high quality people is about mentorship. Mentorship works. Management does not. Today, remember, people will stick around for a job if they're getting mentorship as well as management. And people will respect their boss and stick with them and want to work at a company. They'll want to work with you if you are a source of wisdom. Marshall, how does somebody out there listening know whether they are, in fact, able to be a source of wisdom for their employees or not?
You got to know 10 times more than what your employees know about a given keyword or a given subject, a given topic or subject, okay? You got to know 10 times more. Robert Greene, who wrote the book Mastery, says that you got to know 10 times more. And so that's how you know whether or not you're fit for being a manager on a particular topic. And then furthermore, you got to exhibit Jack Welch's 4 E's. Okay, he has 4 E's. Energy. Do you yourself bring energy?
As the boss. Yep.
As the boss. Energize. Do you energize your team members?
Got it.
Edge. Do you bring the discipline needed to make the tough decisions and live with the consequences?
Yep.
And then execute. Do you get your stuff done?
So you have to eventually fire the coworkers who work with you if they're creating a toxic environment. You have to fire people that are... Now, if people are passive-aggressive in your organization, meaning that they refuse to do what they're supposed to do, whether it be aggressively or passively aggressively, you have to fire the people that are passive-aggressive. You have to do it. Now, also as a boss, if you want to keep high-quality people there, Eric Chupp, you have to create clear expectations. Employees like to work in an environment where they know what's expected of them.
Yes, and this is a big issue I see with people that are growing a small business. They're entrepreneurs. They're in it every day. They're in there getting their feet dirty, their boots dirty, whatever. They just take it for granted that the employee doesn't know everything. We call it the curse of knowledge, right?
Right.
Those expectations aren't set, and you assume as the business owner, as the manager, that the employee or team member is going to do it the right way, when in reality they don't even know what or how they're supposed to do the thing that they're supposed to do.
And this is very, very critical that you lay out the expectations for what you expect of your people.
It takes planning. It takes forethought, right? You have to be proactive about it. You can't wait until that new hire is sitting there in front of you.
So, Marshall, right now, you are training up, you're mentoring, you're matriculating Andrew and Jordan and Rachel for their next spot, their next promotion. They started off at one level, they moved up to the next level, now they're moving up to the next level. How have you been clear about the expectations and why, and how do you go about that on a daily basis, preparing them over the last really 2 months for promotion?
Well, here's the thing, is already they know more about sales, they know more about search engine optimization, they know more about hiring and firing than a lot of people, okay?
A lot of business owners, because they're around it every day.
Because they're around it every day, but moreover, just being around it, they've executed the systems. So they intimately know the different rapport, needs, benefits, close for a sales system. They know how search engine optimization works. And we wouldn't have set those expectations of you need to know this unless we meant it. It's impossible to teach something unless you know it.
Now, once you found the good people, and you have proven yourself to be a source of wisdom, and you have proven yourself to be a mentor for these people, and you have created a non-toxic environment where they're working with good people, and you have set those clear expectations, then you have to explain to them why what they're doing matters. Chupp, why is it so important for you as a member of the team to know that what you do matters, and for everyone else on the team, including myself? I mean, why do we have to know that what we do matters?
Well, if you think about it we talk about workflows, right? There's different systems that are connected to each other. And if you don't know where your space is in that workflow and how important your segment of the job, if you think of it like a chain, and every link links together. If you are a link in a chain and you don't know how important your job is, you might not put your best effort. You might not show up. You just have to know that it matters. You're there to do a job, and that job is important from A all the way to Z. Clay to Z, if you will.
Now that you know now that you've communicated to your team why what they do matters, you've got to make sure that you set such a high expectation for the products and services that your company delivers that people are proud to work there. Marshall, the employees have to be proud to work there.
There's a quote by Steve Jobs. He says, some people are not used to an environment where excellence is expected of
If you
them.
lowered the bar to meet the expectations of your slackers, no one would have any pride in the workplace.
Yeah, it's like, why would anybody want to go play for the Patriots? Because the Patriots win
All the time.
And so I believe it was it was Chris Long that they did the interview with Howie Long, I think.
Yep.
Howie Long, and Howie Long's like, if you want to win, go play for the Patriots. If you want to have a good time and get paid a lot, you can go somewhere else. And he's like, I want to go win. And so the level of expectation, the level of responsibility is much higher there.
Now, the final 3 things you need to do to keep people working for you is you got to make sure that people feel appreciated and known. I am not perfect at this. I feel like I do a better job year after year. I get better at this. But, Chubb, how do we at the Thrivetime Show make the employees or the team members who work for us feel appreciated and known?
Well, we have weekly meetings, first of all, and we do public praise, right? So when you notice, or Jonathan or somebody in management notices that team members have been doing some behavior that we want duplicated, we want replicated, you go ahead and call them out in public. Tell them a good job. Give them a round of applause.
Did you know that I fired someone today?
I don't.
At Thrive?
No, I didn't.
I won't get into the specifics, but I'll give you an example.
Okay.
We had somebody who was on the search engine team who did a very good job. And the move at Thrive is you get promoted. So once you start off at the search engine team, if you do a good job, I'm going to promote you to sales calls.
Right.
Because that's the next level.
Next step.
And the next step would be shadowing a coach, and then you just keep moving up. And the guy refused to do calls. So I said, hey, I know you've been here for almost a year. You do a good job, but you're fired.
It's part of the system.
Because if not, if we let stagnant people stay there, then there would be no entry-level position for people that want to move up.
Right.
That being said, if I never publicly appreciated people, I guarantee you by next week people are going to start to say, what happened to this person? Where'd they go? And if we didn't do public praise, that would be a toxic environment.
Right.
Now, the next move is you want to make sure that people get to laugh at work. You want to make sure people can have a good time at work, and you also want to allow your people to have their ideas for improvement heard when they make sense. Right?
Again, that's perfect for what that weekly meeting is for.
Now, I'm sorry.
No, you go ahead, Marshall.
I'm so passionate about this.
Obviously taller than me.
I'm so passionate about this. Clay, where's the line on having fun and laughing at work? Because
I like to
this
laugh
is a fine line.
I like to laugh when you're in the end zone. I mean, once you scored a touchdown, I think it's time to celebrate. I don't think you should celebrate before you get into the end zone. And that's why I would just encourage anybody out there if you're listening to this right now and you're struggling to keep good people, I want you to think about this. We have worked with hundreds of clients that are willing to pay a lot of money to hire somebody right now, and yet people will not work for them because they say the atmosphere is terrible. So I want you to rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10 on these following areas. And you can find this on the Thrivetime Show podcast. So if you miss it, you can actually go back and list these. But in the areas of your sites, are the visuals in your office motivating? Are the sounds, is the overhead music motivating, inspiring, favorable? Is the decor positive? Is the smell positive? Is the overall work experience positive? Are there benefits and perks outside of work? Maybe a free gym membership. Maybe you drop off lunch once a day. Maybe you acknowledge people's birthdays. And are you scheduling time for ongoing mentorship? Don't overcomplicate it, but that's how to hire, inspire, and to train and to retain high-quality employees. My name's Clay Clark. I'm a business coach, but I'm also a business owner. We practice what we preach. And if you want to see our processes and systems in action, I'd encourage you to go to the Z66 Auto Auction or go to Elephant in the Room Men's Grooming Lounge or even come by the Thrivetime Show World Headquarters and offices. I'm always available if you want to shadow me. You just have to run it through your coach. And as always, 3 and a 2 and a 1. Boom!
Boom.